Good afternoon, everyone. You're welcome to Just a Bit on Light TV. I'm Abdul Qadri. Once again on your program, Issues and Reality. Today I have with me Councillor
Isiaka
Gafar, who will be talking to us about the significance and the meaning and why councillorship is important in human life, not only in the education sphere. I think everybody needs a counseling at one point or the other, or maybe at every point. A child, an adult, an adolescent. Given the kind of environment we find ourselves, I think it only occurs to some of us that has the opportunity of Western education. I think in our secondary schools, we knew these people as counselor. But as you proceed in our education, one way or the other, you have friends, family, colleagues that find themselves in the profession, in the university, studying counseling education. So, we'll be taking us through the terrain of counseling education and the state of the state of counselorship as a profession in Nigeria today, and what we should do to improve it, and what it can bring to the table in the larger picture of it. You're welcome on the show, sir.
Welcome.
I think I've done quite an introduction there, but for a layman, I've said what I know about counselorship. I'm very sure you will just be smiling, counselorship. But as a professional, what you tell us about the profession, counseling?
Okay. Now, my name is Councillor Isiaka Gafar, the Publicity Secretary of Association of Professional Counselors in Nigeria, Kwara State Chapter. Counseling, there are two words that people always mix together: counselor and counselor. Counselor is a political post, while a counselor is a professional in the field of counseling psychology. And when we talk about counseling, counseling is a professional relationship or a learning relationship between a concerned individual, which we can also call a client or a counselee, and a professional trained individual who is a counselor in order to solve a certain problem. And counseling can be in different forms. It can be educational, it can be vocational, it can be personal, social, or psychological. And also, counseling is for everybody, irrespective of age, ethnicity, language. Because there are different stages of counseling. We have child counseling, we have adolescent counseling, we have adult counseling. There is even retirement counseling. Now, counseling is a professional helping relationship. And there are two ways in our schools, as you said. There is what guidance and counseling. Guidance and counseling. Guidance is a modern word of every helping relationship, like social work, a teacher, a parent, anybody that have more experience can guide. A parent can guide a child. Teacher can guide a student. Senior brother can guide a younger one. But it is only a professional trained individual that can go into counseling. And the minimum requirement you can have to find yourself in the field of counseling, to make you a professional, is at least first degree in guidance and counseling, counseling psychology, or counselor education.
Okay, sir, but let me start from where you stopped from.
Yes.
Let's start with, you said first degree. Are you saying that there are no counseling courses, maybe guidance and counseling education in the College of Educations?
No. Every educator are para-counselors. Because there is no way you will go into the rudiment of counseling or rudiment of education. That in NCE we have a psychology of learning as a course, not as a subject, not as a course of study. And the general guidance and counseling, psychology of education, all these things make you, anybody in the field of education is regarded as para-counselor. Mind you, not a professional counselor.
But you're saying that
there is no
in NCE.
In NCE.
All right.
Yes.
Exactly what I want to.
Yes.
On some people to
In NCE.
to come for me and say that saying we are not professionals. But then and now we found ourselves in this country where not only the counselors,
Okay.
I would say, even the medical practitioners,
Okay.
the lawyers, most importantly the teachers.
Yes.
Every profession in this country complains of marginalization and substandardization, if I can use that word. Like
Okay.
that. So, but like to put it, now you are a counselor, which means you speak for teachers, you speak for doctors, you can counsel doctors when
Yes.
they are having issues.
Yes.
No, let's look at the state of things in this country. How do you think our professionals generally are being treated? Now, particularly the counselors, how are they being treated? Are they being treated right?
You know, just last month, October, yes, that is when President Muhammadu Buhari assigned to the bill of professional counseling in Nigeria, and that gives us the profession a prospect. Because let me give you an example. In every educational sector, you want to get accredited, there must be guidance and counseling units. There must be guidance and counseling units before you can be accredited in polytechnic, NCE, university. You must have a guidance. That means you must have a professional counselor in your institution. But most of our institutions, they manage to just improvise to get accredited. After that, they will find their way. But even in, let's use Kwara State as a case study. You go into the central, you will see in a school, you will see 2-3 counselors in a school. Because in education, there are 3 domains in education. We have cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor. Cognitive is pure academic. Why psychomotor is about physical fitness and other things like sport, every other thing that we engage as students in schools. Affective talks about behavior, moral, and other things. And this is what we are lacking in our educational sectors. Do you understand? Now, in our schools, there must be a guidance counselor in every school in order to check the behavior of a student, and also to cater for the affective domain of education. Without affective domain, there is no complete education. We cannot achieve the goals and aims and objectives of education. But when you go around, it is very difficult. In many schools, there is no professional counselors. Are we now saying counseling is not relevant in our education? Are we now saying counselors are not marginalized? Do you understand? If you go all around other states, when they want to recruit, they will say a counselor will be there. It's been long. I've not ever experienced in this state that they want to employ all our counselors in Kwara State were seconded. I was seconded too. Like from teaching, they will not second you to become a counselor. And the way our stakeholders are saying things, I don't know the reason why they don't take counseling as serious as English, as serious as mathematics, as serious as science. Because you can see all these youths that are saying education is a scam. Because they don't see significance in it. We don't care, we don't cater for their behaviors, their morals. They don't see it as something that is important. And this is a work of a counselor. That is an aspect. Another aspect is a career choice. Many of us, when we are in secondary school, we just need to go and meet someone before we cross into the senior class. Someone will help us to check which type of stream of class or subject we have the ability, like sciences, arts, and business class, which then we call it commercial class. Now is a function of everybody. You will just see a vice principal, anybody that will just sit and hey, you go to science, you go to commercial. Many people don't even have interest in the class they are, but they were forced into it. Because my parents want me to become a lawyer, I need to go to art class. Because my parents are medical doctor, I need to go to science class. And that is the reason why you are seeing mass failure in education. And that is the reason why we don't achieve the aims and objective of education in our country. Thank you.
Well, thank you, but would you say all those things are happening without the connivance of trained counselors? Because let me come in like this. I know of somebody that is very close to me.
Okay.
She was a trained counselor. She graduated from University of Ilorin.
Okay.
And currently she's a teacher. She is not a counselor in secondary school. I don't want to mention name.
Okay.
I just use her own
as an example.
Because during the coming of the current administration in Kwara State, there were some changes that were made, that some teachers that were in the non-teaching parts should be moved to the teaching part.
Yes,
all these things. Even it caused a lot of uproar, but I think that was what affected this person that I told you I know. They actually took her from being a counselor to being a class teacher. An academic staff. So how do you tackle this kind of this kind of outcome? Because when the government comes and say, let's pack everybody to the class, how do you want to solidify your body that you have the power to fight, to say we are professionals and this is where we are supposed to be here, and we cannot be taken like a doctor will say that my work is to carry syringes and stethoscopes to help the people, not to go to the street and pass cars.
As a professional body, Association of Professional Counselors in Nigeria, Kwara State Charter, which I'm part of the executives, and when we received the memo that everybody should move down to class, everybody should go, the elders and the executives went straight to the Ministry of Education, which is the mother body, and we had a discussion with the then Honorable Commissioner. I think we were directed to the PAMSEC. We had a discussion, we wrote. We also met with the TESCOM chairman and SUBEB chairman. And we let them realize, they know all these things, they are aware of it. They are educationists. In SUBEB, the chairman is a professor. And in Faculty of Education, where we were trained. And we let them realize that you cannot just step down counseling in a secondary school, in primary school. You go to core secondary schools in Kwara State. Even in the learning year, courtism is a normal thing now. It is just today where I'm having an interaction with a professional, giving me a review of what is happening in a prominent school in the learning year. Courtism, trancy, all of these things are happening in our schools. But we cannot shy away from all these things. I would say we don't need counseling. It's not possible. And as an association level, we have been tackling this issue. And thank God, from the strive, the president just assigned to the bill, which the government is aware of it. And also, all the stakeholders have been engaged to know the importance of this thing. And as a professional body, we always at least assist the government. They may not know, because what I'm saying this is they cannot achieve what they are achieving if not because of the work of a counselor. The work of a government is just to roll out the policy. The implementation are for the people in the field.
Is there any policy?
There are a lot of policies.
Is there any educational policy that says that we don't need a counselor?
There is no.
And then we have professional educators in charge of, we have PAMSEC, we have chairman, we have TESCOM chairman.
Yes.
And they were there when this policy was rolled out. I'm very sorry to say.
Let me
I want to put this somewhere. I'm very sorry to say this. I feel bad with what you're saying, that the fact that somebody is the governor of a state or a president of a country, he or she just says, go this way, and we don't have informed advices from people that surround him. From what you just said, I was trained in University of Ilorin too. I know how proud you'll be to be a student of University of Ilorin.
Yes.
You have a professor that was maybe one
yes.
of your teacher at the time in the university, and then we have a governor that is obviously not as educated as the professor, automatically the professors should be able to give him an informed advice that, sir, if everything is working this way, counseling should not be taken out. And you said it all. Things that are now rampant. I don't want to mention names. I don't want to badmouth any country. I mean, any schools in this. I mean, in Ilorin. But I know that we all have the problem.
Yes.
You're just limiting it to schools. There are people that are not going to schools and they're already engaging in things that will affect our collective future.
Everybody.
So now, how do you relate with people like that, with the professors, to tell them, give the person in charge an informed advice so that we will not all pay for it dearly in future?
Now, I would like to say this categorically. When we met with the chairman of ASUBEB, and he let us realize something, that before they recruit, that they did need assessment for the stakeholders. I think the principals and the headmasters, the school heads, and the needs for counseling did not take the priority of the evaluation. And we said, okay, but not all the stakeholders were carried along, but he promised that the next stage of recruitment, I think it will be catered for. And we couldn't say anything when he said he has the need assessment results, and that informed us to engage the ANCOPS, the NUT, the OPSI, and all of them are educational, because you cannot be a school head without passing through education, and they know all these things. But let me give you a clue of what is going on as a counseling as a profession. If you want to become a counselor in any parastatal, there are requirements, there are prerequisites. What's supposed to be in your office, what the quality is supposed to have. And in education sector, where a principal, a vice principal, or two vice principals are sharing an office, a counselor must not share an office because of confidentiality. Do you understand? When a student wants to come for counseling, and seeing 2 people, 3 people in the office, that student will just walk away. Do you understand? And the referee, when a counselor requested for an office, a counselor, I'm a VP, I'm an HOD, I'm a principal. All these things, and at an association level, we have been trying to sensitize our stakeholders. We always engage our stakeholders. Just in November 14, we had an international conference, and it was another avenue to educate people, to create awareness, because it seems it's not about going to university. People need to be reorientated, and that is what we have been engaging. We always assist the government, because it is the duty of government to give in-skill in-job training, on-job training. But at association level, we always do that. Almost every 3 or 4 months, we always organize is skill training and capacity building for our professional counselors. We always tell them, even if you are teaching, just come, let us retrain you, and let us give you the modern skills, techniques, tools you need or you needed to operate as a professional counselors. And things are going on well. And at association level, there are some local governments in the state here that there are not enough counselors. That is another marginalization. When you come to Kwara Central, you will see in a school 2-3 counselors in a school. When you go to Kwara North, I'm very sure in a local government in Kwara North, I will not mention that local government, is hardly you see 1 professional counselor. 1 in a local government.
Well, I'll tell you that there are schools in Kwara North when they don't have up to 10 teachers in the school. So a school that does not have up to 10 teachers in the school, if you give them a professional counselor, they will automatically convert him to a class teacher.
That is what is going on.
The thing is this. Let's talk about this counselor thing as a profession.
Okay.
When I was in University of Ilorin has a counseling center.
That is counseling center and human development.
Thank you very much. And then I think at that center they cater for personal needs. Maybe if you have issues with your school visa. Yes. I followed one of my friends. She was a female. She was having problems with her results, and one way or the other, we passed through the something about, I mean, what you just said. I have a cousin lawyer.
Okay.
She, she has been a lawyer for over 10 years now. She has been a barrister for over 10 years. And she told me that when she was in law school, the best student in, I think she studied in Enugu or something. When she was in law school, the best student when they were in school, when they were in law school, actually, he died of swimming or something. One way or the other, it was an immoral act that led to his death. I so much agree, but this is it. We talk about a school where the teachers come to beat students, and to beat, and
the
where
teachers.
the parents will come to beat teachers, and the school is inside this Ilorin. I'm very sure I know the school. My guess, it may be right. I'm very sure I have the right guess, but the thing is this. Growing up, I love to listen to comedy a lot. I don't know why, but I love to listen to comedy a lot. I do not know much about my mother, but a lot of people told me that she was more of a comedian. But I know a lot about my father. My father can make you laugh from now till tomorrow. That was my father. That was my family. If you get to my house today, we will always do or say one thing that will make you laugh. It's like a trait in us. Now, I used to listen to Bing Adebayo.
Okay.
And you know, he's one of the best broadcasters Nigeria has ever seen. And I want to drag it to this side of his proverbial, like Sisi Agbesupele and Ituba Baita and all those things. How do you tell a child that Togri is not the right way to go when you have talks having all the monies in the world?
Yes.
Now, I don't want to mention names, but if you go to Lagos, you know, you hear about one popular name that everybody, you see, he has followers, and each of them wish to be like him one day. That is somebody as educated as you cannot sit with him and have
that thought.
Like sit down and talk in the same direction. No,
it's impossible.
And if you and I start an argument now, we can just finish it with pushing points. This is my point, you push your point. These are the people that the moment they disagree, they break bottles, stab themselves. That's how they settle their. And then these people are mega rich. They have money.
And recognized.
They are very popular. They send their children to school. Then I have a parent who has been a teacher since 1970s. My mother too was a teacher, and I've never seen them riding Bentley. They did not have the money to send me abroad. So now, going to look at the social structure of things, that our politicians have now put more emphasis. I mean, they've painted immoral acts with better pictures. You see governors going to Bibi Naija procession.
Yes.
These are the things
celebrating
as
immoralities.
A normal Ilorin person, I don't know what happened in other states, but a normal Ilorin person will not respect anybody that goes to Bibi Naija. Let me tell you one thing. When I was very young, and I loved to sing a lot. And one day we were talking with my mother, and everybody was saying what they wanted to become. I said I want to be a musician. She said no. I could remember she said, Like, then, at the long run, I came to realize that no matter how rich you are as a musician, Ilorin people will not respect you because we always call you Alagbe.
Yes.
We believe that you have to sing for me whether I'm rich or not.
I'll give you money.
And then I'll give you money.
Yes.
That is it. And then these are the things. This is the upbringing. All those upbringing have now dried away now. Everybody wants to go to BB Nigeria. Everybody wants to be a comedian. Everybody wants to do all sorts of immoral things, will be popular and have the money. Go to TikTok. Like, I don't have it on my phone, I've never registered, but I see things. Even the next door neighbors, the little girls now, when you see what they do online, and then where I'm driving it is that this country, our environment has so much given people the morality that all sorts of immoral things are the ways to go. And then you talk about Togri, talk about something like a reality show like Nigeria. When somebody like me was growing up, at night what we watched was Super Story. Who wants to be a millionaire? But now, you see people sitting for 3 months to watch people sleeping, waking. So these are the things. What do you think we can do to help the whole of the society?
Now, I want to start from this because I work as a school counselor, and we see a lot of things. All this thing you are just projecting in the society starts from primary and secondary schools. We see SS1 students, GSS1 students bleaching. You just beat like this, blood will come out. You will see 11 years old child gambling. They have a gang of gambling. You will see some 3-4 students, they will have a gang, and they will use it as to impress other students in the school. I'm not talking about university. I'm talking about primary and secondary schools.
That's what I'm driving at that. When people like me were in secondary schools, we heard that when you go to universities, you most likely be a cult member. You see people being half naked. I went to University of Ilorin and nobody was half naked throughout my stay. I don't know what is happening now. But I don't know if Kwasu is continuing with the same thing. I don't really go out. But I was in the university. I went to university. I didn't have a bad gang. Just last week, I was with one of my friends that we graduated together in the University of Ilorin. When I told him, he said he came to get married in Ilorin, and he told me to come and have some fun. Funny enough for me, my brother was getting married on the same day he was getting married. I could not divide myself into two. I have to go with my brother. But when I got to his house, he said, "What will you drink?" He said, "Just give me malt." His fridge is stacked with alcohol. I don't do it. And that we've been together for almost 8 years now, and he has never influenced me because of my upbringing. But one way or the other, maybe the parents are the bone of contention now. What are they telling their children? Do they give? I'm from Agbaje, where if you do something bad, they'll take you to the mosque to publicly, and your parents will look on. One way or the other, whether they're happy, whether they're sad, nobody could say no. Today, sorry is the case.
Now, what I'm just trying to tell you is, that is what I've been preaching. A lot of things are happening. A lot of things. Drug is a normal thing. Based on research in the state, drugs are normal things in our secondary school. Drugs are normal things. That is one. Legalism is a normal thing. No, when you get before when we were in school, before you can go from SS2 to 3, there is mock exam. Can you remember that?
Exactly.
That mock exam is like almighty exam.
Like you're preparing for WAEC.
More than WAEC. Now, nowadays, there's nothing like that. People just promote the way they do. And I don't know, you say you have mass failure, your examination malpractice. People, and this every child can, the way we implement it in our dear states is not encouraging. Everybody must promote. Yeah. Students, if I go to class, I did not go to, I will promote. And if you go to schools around, you will not see SS3 students in the class.
Yes, that is.
They are not in the class anymore.
Yes, they don't.
And that issue, that's what I'm saying, that cognitively you cannot solve educational problem alone. They will have opportunity to go outside the school, to go and party, to go and drug, to go and use different type of things, and an opportunity for them to be influenced by the society, by friends. These are a lot of things, and we need to set a parameter on how we just move our students, and it's part of the work of a counselor in a school. The placement, how you move students from one class to another. It's not about exam. It's not all about exam. That's what we call continuous assessment. Continuous assessment is not about written test alone. Behavior is there, psychomotor is there. That is the reason why you call it continuous. How persistent are you in the class? How active are you in the class? All these things doesn't tell on performance alone. It's an all-round development. A student that know that if I attend a class, I will got 2 marks. That student will keep calm, focus, and other things. Even the cognitive will be achieved. But the way we run our education in our country has given room to a lot of antisocial behaviors. And even parents, the way you said it. Now, in where I work, the placement that we just admit less than 300, and people almost 1,003 we registered. They want to come to that school. 1,003, and the school have capacity to admit less than 300. You now see how parents will influence, the stakeholder will influence. Parents we want to bribe. You will see letter from ministries, see letter from traditional rulers, from all kind of stakeholders. They want to influence, and that student, a child will now say, my mommy, would you do anything on it? What is the meaning?
Okay, sir.
And I've seen in this state that a parent enter a school and use police to arrest a teacher. What type of things are we passing to our child? That child will go and slap a teacher in the future. You can just imagine. When we were growing up, as you know, when you complain at home that my teacher might ever beat me, they will follow you now. They will follow you back to school to repeat. You will gain that punishment again. And that will tell you that anything that happens to you in the school is for your betterment. But things have changed. All the stakeholders have hand in it. The parent, the society, our stakeholders, and the government.
So, Albert, I think in a situation like this, I always love to use myself as an example. When I was growing up, I started my school, Islahudin, Prague and White.
Yes, I know that place.
I started my school.
Everybody did lesson in that place.
I started my school there, and one thing was that it was very close to our house. I'm from Agbaji, so I had a brother, a little brother, and then back then our parents they were just striving to give us good education. I'm from a polygamous family. I'm the number 10 of the family. Then my brother was the number 11, so it was not an easy ride for me to go to a private school. So my mom had to bear all the expenses, and at one point she could not pay for the two of us at a time. But for one reason or the other, she paid for me and told, it's a normal thing. She has 2 children, and okay, I pay for this, I'll come and pay for the other one later. But when they call our names, I don't know what happens. They don't really call my name. But her boss, I could really remember that woman. She's dead now, of blessed memory. She knows me by face. She just tell me, go to your class. Then I realized that this woman has an agenda. I want to go back to my house. I want to play. So I make sure one day I was able to dodge her, and then I went to pick my brother. The class teacher did not know anything. She knows he's my brother, and say, they've sent us home. We have to go. The class teacher will release him to me. Then we'll go home. And we saw one person. That person asked us, Kilomita Law School. We were wearing our school uniform. Kilomita Law School. I said, Mommy was on Wilewe. That man did not say anything. The next thing was that I saw the man in our house the next night and said, Omarelo was on Wilewe. That man is not in this current situation. Is not the person to say to come to your house and say, Omarelo Law School. I will not Law School. My mother did not say anything. She just came to the school the next day. I received the beating of my life that day.
Why did you say so?
Like, you could see, my mother did not even say, she did not beat us at home. Because one way or the other, my father would be happy because he was not happy with us going to a private school in the first place.
Yes.
So now, I'm saying that these parents, I remember this, I read something about Adolf Hitler, that it was the upbringing that he had. His father used to beat his mother in his presence. He grew to know these things. He cut his father's finger when he was just 5 years old. Because his father used to beat his mother, and one way or the other, he was playing with his father one day. His father did not know he had the scissors. It's a normal thing. Your child has the scissors, and you're playing with it with your hand. He cut the finger. He did it deliberately. They chased him out of the churches and all those things, and the whole world had to pay. He was the genesis of the Second World War, the most brutal war in the history of mankind. Those were the things. Now, somebody gave birth to the touts. Somebody gave birth to all those people we don't want to cross paths with. I don't know if you have these kind of things, but today, I have my classmates, I have my friends, I have the people who grew up together that I don't want to meet on the road today because they will one way or the other be drunk or they will be drugged, and you will not want to associate with them. That's one. Number two, they will want to take money from you by force. And then let's say now that we meet on this diamond of the past, where you have no option to run back because there may be a car, then you have to be contented with that. That is back in those days when there was discipline. Now let's talk about now that there is no discipline, because as far as that discipline has disappeared, maybe 70%. Drug is now a normal thing.
Yes.
Even in our houses, we need to look after our brothers and sisters. Not even the brothers alone now. We have to look after our brothers and sisters. They take codeine, take all other things. I've never done all these things for any reason. I've seen a friend that told me that there was a time I find it difficult to sleep and tell me that take codeine, you sleep for 24 hours, don't worry. But I know people that take this thing for the fun of it. They just take a whole bottle. But what is the upbringing? When somebody tells you to do something, one thing, every bad thing comes with a garnish of enjoyment. And then how do you know that after this enjoyment, what do I expect? And then if we keep walking in this path, the whole state will pay for it, and maybe one way or the other, tomorrow we'll have drug addicts as our governors, our senators, House of Rep members, the people that will govern us, and those people, maybe they spend 20 or 24 hours of their days on drug. How do we expect them to take the right decision for us? That's my own fear. How do you, as a professional body, tell the government, maybe you do a white paper and present it to the government, say this is what is currently happening. This is what we foresee that we have in the next 10 years. You may not be the governor in the next 10 years, but the country, the people will know that we gave you this and you overlook it. What are the things you are doing? I'm from Ilorin. I was born in Ilorin. I was raised in Ilorin. I'm still living in Ilorin. Ilorin is not like 10 years ago. So, what are you doing to help all of us?
Now, as a professional body, we always I would like to mention this Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development. They are really doing it well. And as a professional body, we always collaborate with other stakeholders, non-government organizations, government organizations, and ministries, MDAs, that we always put. And anytime we want to have a program, we always use it to mark international days, like International Days of Drug Abuse, International Girl Child Day, World Menstrual Hygiene Day. All these days, we always try to organize programs across the 3 senatorial districts, and we always collaborate with non-government organizations to do the program together, not because of anything, just to create awareness about the consequences of those antisocial behaviors and to reorientate our people in their state. And I just want to urge the government to see those things as priority, because government will always see physical things, and those physical things cannot achieve the aims of building it if they are not properly used. And who will use them is human being, and human being that was not trained will misuse those facilities.
Thank you very much. That has been a very lengthy and educated discussion. I think I was a bit emotional there. Thank you very much. That is Councillor Isiaka Abdulgafar, is the PRO of Association of Professional Councillors in Nigeria, Kwara State Chapter. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much, our viewers. I remember myself once again. I've recorded here. Do have a lovely day. See you next week.
Thank you.